Hi everybody, and welcome to the NECB eLibrary quick tutorial where we answer the question, how do I research the healthcare industry at the eLibrary? And this is part one of two parts because we have so many resources at the library for doing healthcare industry research that it was better to break it into two. In this tutorial we're going to focus on three databases that will help you: S&P Net Advantage, IBISWorld, and Plunkett Research. One thing to bear in mind before you begin or as you begin doing research on the healthcare industry, and this is not the company level but rather the industry as a whole, is to bear in mind that there are actually a number of different segments within the healthcare industry. There are healthcare facilities, for example, like Hospital Corporation of America, HCA, which is a chain of for-profit hospitals. There's life science tools and services. There is managed care. There are pharmaceutical companies. There are products and suppliers like Stryker, the medical device company. Also remember that there are insurance companies, life health insurance companies, and also there are biotechnology, drugs, and genetics companies. So there are a number of different types of segments within healthcare. So it's important to bear that in mind as you proceed through and research the healthcare industry. Let's take a look at the S&P Net Advantage database first. If you go to the home page of the library, you'll see the S&P Net Advantage link right here. I have it open. If you go to the home page, you'll see these industry surveys, which are terrific. If you hit the drop-down arrow, Standard & Poor's, of course, is a brand name in investment research, been around for over a century. And these industry surveys, they've been publishing them since the late 70s. They're published semi-annually, so they're updated quite frequently. They're loaded with great data from industry and government resources. And you can see in here, they have a number of different segments within the healthcare industry that they track. So you can see facilities, life science tools and services, managed care, pharmaceuticals, products and supplies. They also have life health down here, and they also have one, I believe, for biotechnology up here. Let's just take a look at one so you can get a sense of what sort of information can be found in here. Click on facilities, click the little arrow, and what you'll get, this is the opening page, and you can look at the reports. Reports in PDF run about 40 to 60 pages usually. You can look at it in HTML. You can click on the PDF. Also the back section, which I'll show you in a minute, that is loaded with data on all the different companies which do business in under the heading of healthcare facilities that you can export that whole section by clicking on this into Excel. So click on the PDF to bring up the PDF report. And by the way, archive surveys, click on this little down arrow. You can get all the archived semi-annual reports dating back to '98. So if you're doing some historical research on healthcare facilities, you can get all of those in here. If you go here and you just bring the bar down here, you can see the sort of information. It's great analysis from Standard & Poor's. Data is here, as I say, from industry resources and government sources, with a great Standard & Poor's writing. You go all the way down here. This is terrific. Introduction to the healthcare facilities. So if you decided you were going to settle on, say, Hospital Corporation of America, and you want to know the industry in which it operated, this is terrific. Down here is a glossary of terms, which is very helpful. You want to know the vocabulary used by people who research and work in this industry. Down here further, some other sources which are suggested. Then down here, the data that I was suggesting that is all downloadable by way of this link. These are all major players in the industry. They're pulling financial information. So we have historic information here. You have compound annual growth rate for these numbers. This is all indexed. Going further down here, more companies. And again, this is all exportable to Excel. You have some ratios, current ratio, debt to capital. You also have price earnings ratio, dividend payout, dividend yield. Again, all this data is available to you, and this is just one of several segments in the healthcare industry which is tracked by Standard & Poor's and which goes back well over a decade. So another source that I want to show you for healthcare industry research is called IBISWorld. This is a terrific database. Click on here and it'll open up this page, and IBISWorld has over 700 industries in it, and there's a couple of ways to do a search in here. If you were doing research on healthcare, you could do a keyword search, or you could, if you wanted, you could browse. But let's try the keyword search first, and let's try the word prosthetics. Let's say you're interested in prosthetics market. And so you've got any sort of research report in which prosthetics appears prominently. So you've got like medical instrument and supply manufacturing, medical device manufacturing. If you click either of those, it will bring up the report and you will see what's available. Let me browse first and I'll show you an example of one of these reports. We go back to home and let's go to U.S. Industry Reports. And here you can browse in this section. Here's two different ways to do it, by industry sector, or you could, if you wanted to, there's an even longer list here, and I say that there are over 700. So it's entirely up to you. I prefer to browse, but you could have also done a keyword search like I did with prosthetics a minute ago. Look at all these sectors within healthcare. And we could, if we wanted to, we could go, let's say, to specialty hospitals. And this will bring up the report for specialty hospitals, and each report is formatted the same way with all these tabs. So you've got introductory information about the industry, at a glance, performance, outlook, products and markets, competitive landscape, major companies, operating conditions, and key statistics. So let me just take you through each one of these tabs quickly so you can get some rough idea of the sort of information provided about specialty hospitals. And as I say, these are updated usually twice a year, so it's very current information. You can, if you want, click the PDF button here. It'll download the entire report in a PDF report. But here in this opening page, a lot of really good basic information, first of all, on specialty hospitals. You can then go to industry at a glance. The data is very current. The executive summary down there. You can go to industry performance. So you're looking at what's driving the company externally, current performance here. You'll notice from time to time these little green icons. If you click on that, it will allow you to export all this data into Excel. So there's that option available to you also. Click on Industry Outlook here. So it's giving you future of the specialty hospitals industry. And again, there's an option here to download that particular table. Industry is growing. Products and markets. So you have supply chain, products and services. There are links to related industries. It's a great way to start researching industries. So what you may be doing is you may be researching, for example, a particularly specialty hospital, and you want to know the industry in which it operates. This is a great way to do that. You've got the competitive landscape. You can see whether concentration in this industry is low. You've got many specialty hospitals, not any one dominating the industry. Barriers to entry. Major companies here, like Memorial Sloan Kettering is mentioned here. There's a market share. So this will identify some major companies that you may want to research. Operating conditions. Dealing with capital intensity, technology, regulation. And lastly, this key statistics area. And all of this is exportable, so you've got a lot of data on the industry. And you can see these green icons all the way through here, which allow you to export those tables. Another database that I want to show you in this first part is called Plunkett Research, which is available right here. When you click on that, it will bring up the home page here, and this database is organized around research centers. And one, or three rather, that I want to direct you to that would be useful for doing research on the healthcare industry is one, this healthcare. Another was insurance here, which will cover healthcare insurers, and also biotechnology over here. If we click on healthcare, you'll notice regardless of which industry research center you choose, they're all formatted the same way. You'll see there's market research and trends. You can do a screening on companies and executives. Industry associations are very valuable and I think underused type of resource for information on whatever industry you're researching. In healthcare, for example, it'll identify all the different healthcare research associations, and their websites sometimes are really great, rich places because all the members that belong to that particular association may contribute data on their operations. If you go to statistics, the statistical data on the industry, but let's click on this first so you just get a sense of what you can find. So you click on market research and trends. You can click on this little down arrow, and these are all the different topics covered on the healthcare industry. And you click on any one of these, it'll give you up-to-date news reports. This is updated quite frequently, so it's all very current. And any one of these, you can click on the PDF and you can save it. You can go into companies and executives here, and you could do a screening by geography, by revenues, by number of employees, by type of company, whether it's all companies or limited to privately held or publicly held. You can also go back to Here you can go to statistics where you can get data on the industry as a whole, and this is all exportable page by page if you like. These are all this, so it's very helpful as far as understanding, for example, total home health expenditures or national health expenditures. So you can put in some context the data that you have on the hospital industry. So that's Plunkett Research, and let me bring you back to the library, and that's the scope of what I want to cover in this first part on researching the healthcare industry. In part 2, I'm going to move on and cover both ProQuest and Mergent databases. So good luck with your research, and I look forward to seeing you soon.